How you doing, YouTube family? Today is Wednesday, July 31st, 2024. You know, it's crazy how fast this year is flying by. You know, I could have swore doing my many internet searches that I saw somewhere where the scientists have said that the Earth has started to rotate faster on its axis. So it's not, I don't know how much faster that is rotating, but the Earth is rotating faster. So I'm pretty sure you all can agree that the days are flying by. Before you know it, it's already nighttime. And then, hell, when you go to sleep, the nights are flying by just as fast. Before you lay down to go to sleep, it's time to get up in the morning. And it just seems like the time's speeding up. And you know what that means? That means that if the time's speeding up, that means that your biological time clock is also speeding up. So that's why you got to always make good decisions. But at any rate, I want to thank all of you that have gone over to my son's channel, Illuminated D, to consume the content, to go over there and give your opinions and your viewpoints. I appreciate the comments because what that does, it allows me to take a step back, self-reflect, if I can do some things better, or if I need to go a little, do I need to deep dive more? I try not to use a whole bunch of big words, and yeah, I do have a couple of degrees, but that don't define who I am. I'm just a regular dude on YouTube, just a regular old dude on YouTube, just trying to impart some knowledge to some people to hopefully make your lives easier, better, more meaningful. But I do appreciate the fight that you guys go over there, you guys and girls, men and women, you go over there and you consume that content. And for you all that have thought enough of the content to subscribe, we really do appreciate that, my son and I. Well, without further ado, so I don't know if you all remember, but I dropped a video not too long ago, do men genuinely love women? And there was a brother in the comment section, and he asked me my opinion, my points of view on what I thought of polygyny. So I commented to that to the brother, and I told him that I would that actually me and my son was actually having a pretty in-depth conversation about the topic, the pros and the cons, and I also relayed to this brother that I would have my son drop a video on it and just kind of speak to it a little bit. So, and he did that. I think he did a fantastic job of relaying the information from his points of view and from his perspective. And what you all have to remember is this: depending on how old you are, where you at in life, if you at a certain age where you've done the work, you can say something which is the same thing that somebody else who may be a little bit younger said, and the older version may sound a little bit more eloquent, if that makes sense. So, but I still say, man, his point of view and how he, how he spoke on it, it really hit home and it made a lot of sense. So I thought that I would just come on and speak to you, to my family, and just, I don't know, maybe piggyback off of it a little bit, and give you my spin on it. Well, first of all, before I can speak on the topic, you got to understand that there are a lot of words out there. People use polygamy as a broad word, but then when you start talking about specific genders, men that are married to a man that's married to multiple wives, that has a specific word for it. Women that a woman that's married to multiple men, that has a specific word for it. So with that being said, polygamy is a type of relationship where one person's one person marries more than one partner. There are generally three forms of polygamy, right? You have the first form, which I kind of touched on, the first version of it, polygyny, which is the specific form of polygamy where a man marries multiple wives. Then you have the polyandry. You will find a woman will marry multiple men, so she'll have multiple husbands. But with that being said, as it specifically applies to polyandry, you're going to find polyandry is a less common form of polygamy. So you're not going to find a woman that's, a lot of women that practices that, where they're going to be married to, more than one man. They're going to have more than one husband. You should also know that polygamy is illegal in the United States, China, and Australia, and a few other countries that I have not mentioned. Now, in parts of the Middle East and Asia, polygamy is legal. In many parts of Africa, polygamy is not only permitted, but it is also widely practiced, especially in West Africa, right? So, regions in West Africa are predominantly Muslim. And Muslims embrace polygamy, always have. I've traveled the world. I've been to the Middle East a couple of times and to other countries that, where they practice polygyny. And you also have to understand, according to the Islamic faith, a man is allowed to have up to 4 wives. So 4 wives, yeah. So 4 wives. So now, while polygamy is illegal in many countries, people who wish to practice polygamy opt out of getting married in the traditional sense, right? Because it's if you want to have more than one wife in the United States, well, that's illegal. You can't do it, so that's just what you can't do it legally. Some people try to do it, and there's a, so you got some nuances with that too, but I don't want to go off on a side rant. So basically, what they do is they'll get involved in what's called a polyamory relationship. So in this type of relationship, this is basically a more acceptable and legal way to be in a relationship with multiple partners. So in polyamory relationships, you got to also understand that all parties have knowledge of each other and openly consent to the relationship. So now that we have a kind of a clear understanding as to, how polygamy actually breaks down and it has its different nuances, we got to look at the pros and the cons of this thing, right? So one of the pros is children that are born out of the polygamy relationships, polygyny relationship, when you have a man that have, multiple wives. It says statistically that these children are usually, they usually fare better. Their upbringing is a lot more solid. Another pro is, I think, depending on if all your wives are working, that could be a hell of a way that you could create wealth very fast, depending on, how, I once had an idea where I said, what if I had, per se, I don't know, 3 roommates, right? I got a pretty decent sized house, 3 roommates, and and if all paid a certain share, but then we were in this, I guess you would say, the polyamory relationship. From my perspective, it was like, man, I could only just fathom the thought of how much money you could amass, especially of all three of my partners made well over six figures. And I made well over six figures. So I'm thinking like, man, do you know what you could do with that? But anyway, that was just an idea. So I guess from a financial standpoint, that could be one of the pros. Now the cons, as you know, man, it is very difficult to maintain a healthy relationship with one woman. And that's not, and we talking about a woman that don't already come with her share of problems, issues, and whatnot. We talking about a woman that's solid. So even with a in the words of the late great Godfather Kevin Samuels, even if a woman is fit, feminine, and submissive, I'm telling you right now, I don't care what nobody say, you're gonna still have some issues with her. There's still gonna be some issues. Ain't no perfect thing, ain't no such thing as a perfect relationship, right? So you're gonna still have problems, because I've had super submissive women and it was still problems. So I think that's one of the cons, right? Because how in the world, if if I'm, let's just say I'm kicking it with two chicks, right? Two women. I'm in a polyamorous relationship with two women. They all know about each other. Hell, we could all be living together. I can only imagine how much stress that I would be up under, because I just don't see, not only just from the physical standpoint, but according to Islamic faith, if a man is going to take on, because remember, they can have up to 4 wives. So if a man is going to take on another wife, he must be able to provide for wife number 2, just like he's providing for wife number 1. So you can't, wife number 1 can't get no G-Wagon, and then wife number 2 get a Kia. That's not how it works. And you can only imagine now you add a third wife to the equation. When I was spent time in the Middle East, I tell you, I saw the men there with multiple wives, and from the surface of it, it looked like everybody was happy. Wife number 1, 2, 3, 4, they all had G-Wagons, because remember, what you do for wife number 1, you got to do for wife number 2, 3, and so on and so forth. So, from just a not even talking from a intimate standpoint, the physicality of it, because there's gonna be some smashing going on, because you and I both know wife number 1, she's gonna want to make sure that she's getting her fair time as far as the physical intimacy is concerned. But now wife number 2, 3, and 4, they're gonna be like, well, whoa, what about me? So I can't even begin to fathom, it's only 7 days in a week. How would you do that as a man now? Now, for you young bucks out there, y'all brothers that, 20, 30, 40, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you can put it down and keep up 7 days a week, you know what I'm saying? You got, 4 women to satisfy. Maybe you can do that, but I promise you, as the hands on the clock keep on ticking, the sands of time continue to fall, you're going to be my age, right? And I'm telling you right now, I don't care how people say, oh, Big D, you look good, whatever, still in great shape, whatever. Let me tell you, looks can be deceiving. How many of y'all have seen people selling cars, right? From the outside, the car look amazing, but pop the hood, you got all kind of problems with the engine. You got valve head leaks. You got shot pistons, fuel injectors clogged. So what I'm trying to tell you is looks can be deceiving, but not to get off not to get sidetracked. I just, when I look at that aspect of it, then from a financial aspect of it, even if you was in a situation in the perfect world, you made well over 6 figures, which ain't a lot nowadays, but all things being equal, I do the Thanos snap, I snap my fingers and boom, the economy is perfect, interest rates down to the lowest of the lows, everybody getting paid, right? Even if the man making well over 6 figures, and let's just say you got you in a relationship with the two women, and they making six figures. Yeah, on the surface of it, things should be okay. But the problem is, I guarantee you it won't. At some point, there's going to be some tension. At some point, one of those women are going to feel like that she's being slighted and she is not getting the same amount of attention, whether it be physical attention, emotional attention, as the other partner. You see me, and that's where the problem comes in at. And what you also have to consider is this. All those countries that I mentioned that still see polygamy as being okay, those women are raised up under those, those societal values. And they're raised up under those, how their society sees, how relationships should be conducted. So in other words, these women are already programmed for the mindset of, okay, being in, for the man I potentially will marry will be able to have up to X amount of wives. And that's just the way it is. So, it's not so difficult to even go down the polygamy path in those countries that practice the relationship style of polygamy, right? So now, when you start talking about the West, the United States of America, let me tell you something. Ain't no polygamy going on over here, not legally. And even if you wanted to dwell in the polyamory relationships, I'm finding now that a lot of sisters are becoming okay with these polyamory relationships. So, I find that to be interesting as well. But I'm telling you, from my perspective, I could see the value in it from a financial standpoint if all, my wives were working. But if they were not working and I retired all of them and all they doing is just basically shopping, sitting around the house, going to the gym, I think that'll be too much for me. That'd be too much pressure for me. No way in the world I can see myself being able to adequately accommodate all, even if it's just two women. I just don't see myself being able to do it. And then have time for myself too. You know that relationships take a lot of energy, emotional energy, physical energy. It is draining sometimes. And that's just with one woman. Now imagine you add another two or three in the mix. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Back in the day when, in the Bible, men always have had multiple wives, side chicks, because that's all they were back then. They just gave them fancy names, gave them names. But basically side chicks. And that was the thing back then. And I want to say that I think Noah, Noah who built the ark, if you believe in the teachings of the Bible, his father Lamesh, I think that's how you pronounce it. He was the first known person in the Bible to have two wives, or I don't know if he was. I would have to do the research on that and see if he was actually married to him, or if basically he was married to one and the other was a side chick, and they was kind of in a, one of them hybrid in between a polygyny and a polyandry relationship. I don't know. Let me think. What else do I have? So basically, to close this out, I think that if the women were raised up under the religion that taught it's okay for a man to have multiple wives, I think it could work, but not in the West. Not in the good old US of A. Nah, that ain't working over here. Them sisters ain't going for that. So, in my opinion, if you can just find you a solid 6, 7, 8, and she fit, feminine, and submissive, I'm gonna tell you to ride with that one. Don't get greedy, fellas. Don't get greedy. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, when you get greedy, sometimes it come back to bite you in the ass. See, sometimes we as men, we always get greedy. We already got a good one, but we want this one over here too. And sometimes, as I told y'all before, we as men, you must learn to subdue your passions. And you must learn to have that sexual discipline. I know we were programmed to want to just jump on anything that's fine, sexy, women, a woman. That's in our DNA. But that was for reproductive purposes, not just to be smashing wildly. That was for reproductive purposes, not just to be out here going ham and crashing out, trying to hit everything that's walking and moving. So in closing, I think it could work given the circumstances, the right circumstances. But over here in this country, I don't see it working, and I don't even see a polyamory relationship working, and I mean working smoothly with no issues, no hiccups. Well, good people, that's it for me. I hope you have a enjoyable rest of your day, a peaceful week, and always remember, be more tomorrow than you were today. Peace.